Hello, this is Mary Skirvin, and this is my first infomercial for my year-long project. Now, my topic that I chose is, as it was printed in the syllabus, why does the U.S. have such a high imprisonment rate compared to the rest of the world? The U.S. has the highest imprisonment rate over worldwide. In fact, we have 1/4 of the world's prisoners, despite that we are not 1/4 of the world's population. So this isn't a pro-con argument, this is a why argument, and because this is such a big issue, there are many contributing factors, and it is certainly more than one factor contributing to this. Now, as for why the prison populations are so large, there's 2 points of view that you need to consider. Why are there so many prisoners coming into the system, and why are so many of them coming back? So, as for inflow, around the, 1960s to 70s, there was a sharp rise in imprisonment rates, and this is not due to any rise in crime. What happened was there was a crackdown on drug-related crimes, as that was an issue of the time. It is unclear whether or not it was drug-related crimes were becoming more problematic, or if it was just what people were worrying about. So what happened was more people were arrested for drug-related crimes, and the amount of time that you could spend in prison for a drug-related crime rose sharply. Around this time was when mandatory minimums were put in place. So mandatory minimums basically means that you have to serve all of your sentence up to a certain point, and you can't appeal to be let out early. So more people staying longer, higher prison populations. More laws have been made about drug-related crimes, and also many other types of crimes as well. As time goes on, laws accumulate, so it's become much more likely that, depending on what you're doing, be it a business transaction or something obviously illegal like a drug-related happening, it becomes much more likely that you will be doing something illegal because the laws just pile on top of each other. Also, it's important to remember that whenever someone's campaigning and they want to garner public favor, saying that you're tough on crime is really a good way to win people's favor. For instance, many people have promised implementing more police officers or putting more rules into place as part of their spiel to get elected to various positions in office. And because of this, you have more people patrolling, so more people are getting arrested, and there's more laws, so more people are getting arrested. Now, as for recidivism, many people, it is incredibly common, and I wish I had the numbers for you here, but I don't, but a very large percentage of the prison population are repeat offenders. They've been there multiple times. Now, some of that is that for a lot of people, prison is the only place they know, and for a lot of people it's better than their normal life. Maybe they're homeless, maybe they come from a bad situation, so they're fairly likely to return for that reason. However, many people can't escape from the system. So after you've been arrested, it will be very difficult to find a place to live. It is difficult to gain property. Some people have to go live with their families, endanger their families getting kicked out of their homes because certain landowners, if you're leasing somewhere, they just won't let someone who has a felony conviction or various other types of convictions rent a certain house or buy from a certain piece of property. So it's very difficult to get a job if you don't have any place to stay. Some places won't hire you if you have a felony or even a very small conviction, and even if it's a very small crime that you've committed, you'll always be the second choice to someone who doesn't have any sort of previous record. So, if you don't have a way to make more money, you're much more likely to commit more crime and wind right back up in prison. Also, the mentally ill are not treated very well in this country in that we don't have good venues for treatment. So many people who are mentally ill are treated as prisoners and may not even be recognized as mentally ill and are funneled into the prison system. Now, prison, it's going to be very crowded, it's going to be fairly harsh conditions. That's not exactly the best environment to recover from a mental illness. So, not likely to escape the prison system. Also, because of overcrowding and the heavy use of solitary confinement, many people develop mental illness while they're in prison, which makes it much more difficult to reintegrate into society. Now, all of these problems perhaps reflect a way of thinking. So, why do we want to put people in prison? Because there isn't very good evidence that arresting people and making them serve time prevents crime, because crime rates haven't gone down as imprisonment rates have gone up. So there is really no reason to believe that high imprisonment rates will help crime rates decrease or really keep anyone safe. Now, there are some violent criminals that obviously need to be removed from society so they will stop hurting people, but a large amount of the prison population are not violent criminals. In fact, any financial crimes are, no one's been physically hurt. So they don't need to be removed from people directly, and it doesn't stop other rates of petty crime. So we still find that we want to punish people, even though it does not benefit ourselves or them, and it would be interesting to research this, as it's not clear where this attitude comes from, or why we're so intent on punishing so many people without any benefit to ourselves. So that's what I found so far, and I have a few questions about how I'm going to approach this topic, because there are a lot of factors involved. For another thing, you notice that my topic was, why does the US have such a high imprisonment rate, but in all developed countries, or not all developed countries, but there still is a problem with mentally ill people being sent to prison in other countries too. And oh gosh, I didn't even mention the intense disparity in how likely you are to be sent to prison based on what race you are, but that's the same in all countries. So why, I need more information on that. So why is it so high in the US? And I'm not sure whether I should be focusing on why imprisonment rates are so high in general, or what is specific to the US. Also, this argument is based on why. Why is this the way it is? It's not a pro-con. So for my second infomercial, I'll have to argue against myself. But I'm not really sure how to do that, as my stance is so vague, and it's not a pro-con argument. So any input I could have on that would be much appreciated. Thank you.